Okay, everybody, so in this screencast, I'm going to talk about the bottle flip challenge that we're going to do the next time we meet. Whether you are at home learning remotely or in school with me, we're all going to do it together. So the objectives of this lab are to determine what amount of water is best for flipping water bottles and collect and communicate scientific data in a formal lab report. So basically, we're going to flip water bottles that are full, half full, a quarter of the way full, 3/4 of the way full, and see which one we can flip the most in 60 seconds. And I just wanted to do a quick review of the variables that we've been learning. So the independent variable is what is changed in the experiment. In our experiment, we're changing the amount of liquid in the bottle. So the independent variable would be the amount of water in each bottle. The dependent variable, what we're going to observe or what we're counting, is the amount of times we flip a bottle in 60 seconds. And controlled variables are the things that we keep the same. So some of the things we're going to keep the same are the type of water bottle, the fact that it's water in the bottle, the way we are flipping the bottle, the fact that we are only flipping the bottle for 60 seconds. Variables. So these are the different groups that you will be in for lab. The first group, everybody's going to do this bottle. It's the control group. So we are all going to flip a water bottle with 500 milliliters of water. That's a completely full water bottle. We're going to do that for 60 seconds and see how many times we can land the flipped water bottle. Then each of you will be in another group. Either you're going to flip a water bottle with 0 milliliters of water in it, so there's nothing in your bottle. You're in Group B, which means you have a quarter of the water bottle full, which is 125 milliliters. You're in Group C, which means you have half of the bottle full, which is 250 milliliters. Or you're in Group D, which is 3/4 of the bottle full and is 375 milliliters. The next step is going to be to form a hypothesis, and so that's going to be our educated guess to answer the question. And the questions we're asking are, what is the ideal amount of water for water bottle flips? Basically, which water bottle will be able to be flipped the most amount of times in 60 seconds? So think about it. Do you think you're going to be able to flip a full water bottle the most amount of times, or an empty water bottle the most amount of times, or maybe half of the amount of water is the best? So make your guess, explain why, and then we will see what happens. The materials we're going to use for lab are we need 2 water bottles, one that is full all the way up with 500 milliliters that you have to measure, and a second one which we're going to fill partially of the way with water. So if you're at home, you can just use the same water bottle. You could just start by filling it up, by measuring it. I'm assuming in your kitchen you probably have a measuring cup somewhere. You can use that measuring cup. Fill it up to 500 milliliters of water in the water bottle, and then in the other groups, you'll be able to fill partially with water and measure. And then we'll flip those using a timer for 60 seconds. Procedure. So very simple. When you have the actual lab, you are going to obtain your materials. Basically, all you need is a water bottle. If you're in school with me, I can give you the 2 water bottles, or you can bring your own water bottles in. You're going to watch this video that I have linked on the actual lab. Not in this video, but on the actual lab. I have a video about how to flip a water bottle. The reason we all have to watch this video, even though we all know how to flip a water bottle, is so that we're using the same hand technique, so it's considered a control. There's an online stopwatch timer I suggest you use because it's super easy. You can use other ones. And then once you have all of that ready, you're going to flip your water bottle for practice. Just see how many, just flip it, practice, see how many times you can do it. And then when you're ready, you're going to start with your control group, which is a full water bottle. That does not mean if you're at home, you take a water bottle and you fill it with this, like from the sink with water. You need to find something that is that you can measure with. So usually in our kitchens, we have a measuring cup. You could take that measuring cup and look at one of the sides, we'll say milliliters. You can fill it up to 500 milliliters or multiple times to equal 500 milliliters and fill the water bottle like that. We need to make sure we measure. It is a control. You start your timer and you flip that water bottle as many times as you can in 60 seconds, counting each time it lands as one time. And you have to do that 5 different times for the control. And then once you're done with that, you'll do your experimental group. So it depends on if you're in A, B, C, or D. Flip that water bottle for 5 times, record it in table 1, and then calculate the average for both of those. And then we will share our data together. This is what table 1 looks like. Your goal later on when we write our lab report is going to be to create a title for this table. And then you list the amount of water in the bottle. Like for the first one right here, it would be control, 500 milliliters. Tell me how many times in trial 1 you flipped it, in trial 2 you flipped it, in trial 3 you flipped it, in trial 4, trial 5, and calculate the average. And then we're going to have all of our other groups here say I did 0 milliliters, and I'll write down mine, and then we'll share our data with our classmates so we all have a filled-in table. Okay, and so that's what we're going to do for our lab. I hope it was clear. It's going to be done whether you're at home or here in class with me physically. We're all going to flip those bottles together. This is just kind of an introduction to it, and then what we will do is when we open up the actual lab next class to collect the data, we'll just kind of briefly review it again.